What are your feelings on the way that Sabu and Rob Van Dam are being used in the crossover between ECW and the USA Network promotion? I got to be honest with you. I think that Sabu is one of the biggest wastes in pro wrestling. He has almost no talent whatsoever. All he does is dive through tables and scar up his own body. No use of psychology, almost no match skills. Once you've seen him, you've seen him. I don't think he's doing anybody a heck of a lot of good right now. As far as Rob Van Dam goes, excellent wrestler. Really has portrayed his Mr. Monday Night role in ECW very well. And I think if they make Rob Van Dam the key figure in that crossover angle, I really think it could be a big draw for them, maybe even a big money maker. Okay, let's go to Ryan from Albuquerque. Ryan, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
What's up, Ryan? What's on your mind, kid?
Well, I was wondering, in your opinion, who do you think DDP's mystery partner is going to be for Bash at the Beach?
I think you're going to find out tonight, kid. Like I said, there's some contract negotiations going on behind the scenes. I can't, for legal reasons, reveal a name for fear of being fired, but let me tell you this. When you do see who it is, it'll be somebody you're very familiar with. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word I'm thinking of. What kind of choice would it be? Let's just say a very, very good choice. Look up very, very good in the dictionary. Maybe you'll know what's going on.
All right.
All right, thanks for the call, kid.
Okay, bye.
Okay, here's the question. Madden, any chance you'll get in the ring with any of the announcers? To be honest, I fear almost every one of our announcers. There is a guy up working in Connecticut that has his face frozen like a Swanson's TV dinner. I wouldn't mind getting a piece of. He's had a lot to say about me behind my back. But then again, I don't think I can talk about it too much right now. Here's another one, Madden. I want you to have my children. Well, I think that in Las Vegas, that's probably the wrong time to proposition me. There's so much available going on here for the right price. So anyway, okay, we got another call coming in here. Let's go to Paul. Paul, you're on with Mark Madden. Paul from Michigan, what's up?
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
What's up, Paul?
I'm just calling to talk about the ratings wars. Now, from what I've heard, that there's going to be a really big superstar on there tonight, and
there might be a couple of them, actually.
Yeah, a couple of them. And how do you think that's going to help the ratings wars?
Well, in my opinion, every time WCW brings in a new star, especially a new star that worked with the other organization, I think it's just really another reminder that the balance of power is swinging from the guys who used to be number one to the guys who are number one right now. You know, it's about perception. I mean, to be perfectly honest, a lot of the guys that are coming in to wrestle for us are guys who haven't wrestled in quite some time and are going to take a while to get back into the swing of things performance-wise, Paul. But I just think it's all perception. I think every time somebody sees a face on our TV that used to be on the other TV, you know, it's just a way of putting an exclamation point on, hey, these are the ones. I think the guys who flip back and forth between the dial, between the two programs every Monday, as a lot of people do, see guys like, you know, you're going to see tonight and say, boy, we better stay here. You know, there's a sense now on Nitro, and I'm not just saying this because I work for the company. I'm trying to be as sincere as I can.
Yeah.
But there's a sense when you watch Nitro that it's the place to be. You hate to miss a second because you never know what's going to happen, and that is the reflection of the ratings. People who watch wrestling would like to watch both shows, but since they're on at the same time, you know, they can't. They have to tune into WCW because that is where the new guys are coming in. WCW, I'm not going to lie to you, Paul, has a lot more money to work with, and that's where they can get guys like that to come in constantly. And I think as long as WCW shows the financial support and the creative support, they're going to be number one for a long, long time.
They've done really well with that so far. I mean, they've developed a lot of characters, and, you know, the wrestlers. I mean, they've come a long way with Diamond Dallas, Harlem Heat, Sting even. And, you know, a lot
no doubt about it. I mean, I think you can look at the creative process in WCW. Sort of a microcosm would be, you know, the way Diamond Dallas Page has been reborn as a guy who was a borderline job guy to becoming a very very respected, you know, tough guy babyface was the kind of thing where, you know, you didn't know what to do with him for a long time. He wasn't a very good heel, wasn't a very good bad guy. But, you know, once he got in the thing where he was kind of like a Harley riding, you know, cigar smoking, tough son of a gun, you know, that was great. You can't say enough good about the way Sting has been totally recast. I mean, you know, Sting had a lot to do with that. He really, you know, thought up his own program to an extent, as it were, and, you know, really, I give him a lot of credit for that. And I give Eric Bischoff a lot of credit for having the cojones, if you will, to run with it, because that was a pretty drastic character change for a guy who was already very popular.
Yeah, and I mean, you never know how the fans are going to react to somebody who just, you know, who's just probably one of the most popular guys in the sport, how they're going to react to somebody who's changing that much. You know, it was a big risk.
Well, yeah, but they love him, don't they, man? One thing I will say, there's been a lot of question as to when Hollywood Hogan and Sting will wrestle. The plan was originally to hold it off until, say, December, but I think now they realize they have to strike while the iron's hot. I think you may see that as one of the big matches in September or October's pay-per-view.
Oh, I wouldn't mind seeing it tonight. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for a long time. I mean, a lot of the internet rumors,
Well, you won't see it tonight. Steve McMichael's making nasty faces at me, so I guess I better plug in. Steve McMichael, one of the finest wrestlers in the world, a guy who could kill me very easily if I didn't say something like that. Hey, Paul, thanks for the call, man. Enjoy the show.
See you, Mark.
Okay. Let's see. Here's a question. Why are former ECW wrestlers 911 and the Shaw Hack Myers being used as jobbers in WCW? Well, they're scrubs, man. They were stars in ECW because Paul Heyman knew exactly how to use them to get the most out of what little talent they do have. But as far as 911 and Hack Myers, for heaven's sakes, being push guys here, ECW, Paul Heyman's a real creative guy, but he has to do things to get his promotion over. He has to take chicken crap and make it chicken salad, if you will. WCW, there's so many solid performers here, they don't have to do that. So, why bother? That's the bottom line. Okay, we have a call here. Candle? Okay, we're trying to wait another call here. Let's see what else. Do you think the NWO will break up anytime soon? No, I don't. I think the NWO gimmick is going to be a long-standing one. It would not shock me if the NWO at some point separated to pit Hall, Nash, Six, and any of their compatriots. They might take with them as the Wolfpack, the outsiders, if you will, against the rest of the NWO, but I don't see that happening for quite some time. Okay, let's go to, what's his name, Kendall? Let's go to Kendall from Arkansas. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm wondering, I've heard that you're in negotiations with Raven.
I don't do contracts. I'm not in negotiations with anyone except maybe one of the female entertainers in Las Vegas here later on. And I think I can get a pretty good price, Kendall. I don't mind telling you.
Okay. And, I think the Yeti rules.
Well, as long as you like the Yeti, we're not going to bring him back, man, because it's just too narrow of an audience, Kendall. Kendall, we're joined now by Gene Okro. Got any questions for Gene?
Kendall, how are you? We've lost Kendall.
All right, Kendall sort of seemed to have a seizure there and fall away from the phone.
So I didn't want to talk to him anyway.
I don't blame you, Gene.
I said, Jabroni, who cares?
That's what I like, Gene, that inside talk. That's what makes me and you the Woodward and Bernstein of inside wrestling talk. I'm telling you that right now.
And this is the Internet Insiders. There you go. Together here. Internet Insiders at WCWWrestling.com. After the interview we conducted a couple of weeks ago in Chicago, everybody's talking about what's going on. This is your hotline to the world of professional wrestling.
That's right. Not only that, Gene, for these people too cheap to call the hotline, and God knows they're missing out a lot, at least on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays when they don't. But this is free. All you got to do is buy a computer, figure out how to punch a few keys, and you're right there. And really, you're going to find that stuff here that you're not going to find anywhere else. Am I right, Gene?
Absolutely. And as I understand here, in a few moments, we're going to have a very rare opportunity to actually verbalize with a couple members of the New World Order. That's not my bag, Madden. I don't like talking.
I'll be glad to carry it, Gene. No problem there. I'll do the intro. I'll do everything because I think Kevin Nash and Scott Hall are what's causing all this, to paraphrase another wrestling legend, Nature Boy Ric Flair.